Problem 2-65. Draw a generic rectangle to help you calculate each product. For each part, write total dimension times total dimension equals sum of individual area parts equals total area. For example, the diagram at right shows that 12 times 27 is equal to the 200 plus 40 plus 70 plus 14, which is total equal to 324. So in this problem, we are to create and draw a generic rectangle to find the product. So product means the result of multiplication. So looking at my problems, I see letter A does not have multiplication in between, but when they're next to each other, we know it's multiplication. And then I see the dot, for example, B. Now they want us to be very specific, so they want us to write it using parentheses. So the dimensions of what they're saying is like the length. So in this case, their example says 12 and they use parentheses, times the other total dimension, which is the 27, so that's the width. And then they want us to use equal and write the sum with the total, the little parts, and then calculate the total, but write also the equal. So it's very precise of what we're doing. So I'm gonna help you getting started with example A. So go ahead and pause the video so you can copy example A and write the vocabulary words such as draw a generic rectangle. So I wrote the example A on my board, and then I'm going to write that it is multiplication. So I'm going to put that dot there. So in order to prepare the total dimensions, so 73, I'm going to split it into the place of the tens and the place of the ones. So 70 plus 3 times, and then the 42 is 40 plus 2. So when I'm drawing my generic rectangle, I need to separate 2 parts times 2 parts, so 2 rows and 2 columns. So as I'm drawing it, so I'm going to write the length on top. So if this is my length, I'm going to say 70, and we have a plus 3, so that's the separator. And then the width, so it's going to be 40 plus 2, so I'm going to say that's the width to find the area, so times, so 40, and then plus 2, so that's the separator. Okay, because it's generic rectangle, the sizes are going to be, I'm just going to keep the sizes the way I have them, but I know 3 is very tiny compared with 70. So now our job is to start multiplying. So I can multiply by looking at length and width. So if I highlight this small rectangle, I need to find how the length and the width, and that's where I'm going to write inside to show work. So I have 40, oops, so let's see, so 40 times 70 is to find the multiplication of that. So I'm going to go 4 times 7, that's 28, and then the 2 zeros are copied. So the product of that is 2,800. I can do it in any order. So let's see if I do the bottom rectangle. Again, I need to find the length, so that's 2, and the width, or vice versa. And I'm going to record that. So this one is, on top was 70, on the side times 2, and then I'm going to go 7 times 2 is 14, and copy 1 0, so that's 140. So I'm going to stop here, but you're going to continue. So continue doing your other areas. So record it here, and then of course record it there as well. So just a reminder, they want us to write as an equation. So right now, to continue with my work for A, I'm going to say 73 times 42, the dimension times the dimension is equal to, so I have 2,800 plus 140 plus whatever you found with the yellow number plus whatever you found here with the red, and that will be equal to the total. So you would add them. So I would suggest if you add them vertically, you could do 2 at a time or you could do all of them. So make sure you do that, and that will be your total. So total area. So go ahead and pause the video and finish example A, and then I'm going to continue to suggest what to do for example B in this video. So in example B, I'm going to write my problem down the way it's given to me. So I have a dot in the middle, so it's not a decimal, it is a product, it's multiplication. So I'm going to rewrite the total dimension times total dimension. So right now I have 125, so I have 1 in the place of the 100, so that's 100. Plus 2 is in the place of the 10, sorry, so I'm going to write 20, and then plus 5, and I need more space, so you know what, I'm just going to erase and put a little more space. So plus 5. So the 125 I separate into 100 plus 20 plus 5. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the 81. 8 is in the place of the 1, so I'm going to say, I'm sorry, the tens. So I have 80 or 8 tenths and then plus 1. So looking at my dimensions or my numbers, I have 3 spaces that I want to work when I'm drawing my area, my generic rectangle. And then I have, so if I say this will be my length, I need to separate into 3 parts. And then my width, I need to separate into 2 parts. So length times width will give me that. So as I'm drawing my rectangle, I'll make it a little longer. So I'm going to separate into 3 parts. So let's see. And then I don't like how the first one is a bit smaller, and that's the biggest number. So let me redo that, and it's okay, you know, you could redo your work. So that will be the length. So I have a place for 100 plus a place for the 20 plus a place for the 5. And then for the width, I'm going to go sideways. I need 2 places. So the 80 and the 1. So I'm going to put them in parentheses just to separate them the way they are. And in the corner, I put my multiplication. So technically, it is the same. So again, just a reminder, you could try with any one you want first. There's 6 of them because we have 3 numbers times 2 numbers. So 6 separate multiplications. So if you start with this rectangle, again, you need to find the area by looking for how high is it and how long it is. So if I'm going to show work again, I mean, how many, sorry. So I have 100 times 80. So I have 1 times 8. So when I multiply the digit, that's 8. And I see 3 zeros. So that's, make sure you have 8,000. Okay, so it's not 800 because there's 3 zeros. So continue with the other areas, and then you may want to check your work possibly with a calculator to see if you did it correctly. But remember, they do want you to write it, all of those numbers as a sum. So there'll be 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. You know, continue doing that on your own. And then when you add them, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 more. And then when you add them, you will get the product. So that will be all on your own. So find the product of letter B as well.